That should do it right there. Welcome back to BBQIT. I'm your host, Craig Kimberly, and thanks for tuning in again. Today we're cooking up some pork. Gonna do some pulled pork, and not a whole pork butt or a pork shoulder, but a half picnic. It's hard to get like a bone-in whole pork butt here on the island where I live, so we have to travel off usually to get that and to get a full picnic. But what we're gonna do is 2 half picnics, which should speed up the process. We're gonna cook basically a little bit hotter, almost hot and fast, and we're doing it on the pit barrel. So we gotta get a few things together, so let's get cracking. Okay, that's right, the pit barrel. Now, if you're not familiar with this, this is the 18, or 18.5, I think, but anyways, it's a really cool thing to cook with, really easy. Right away you see these wrought iron steel rods. Now these are what you hang meat on, like ribs or chicken, which we've done in the past. So this is basically your fire box in a sense. This is where all your charcoal goes and your wood. Let me bring this over here for a second. So I really love the concept, and you know, directly over fire. Now you would think, oh, that's gonna burn. Well, it really doesn't. It really doesn't, but you get all this great, you know, moisture coming back up that hits the coals from the meat and just permeates the meat, and it really does work, and it works fantastic. So I love this thing. All right, so what we're gonna do is get some B&B lump charcoal in our basket. We're gonna get that lit. What I'll do is I'll light a chimney on the side of some coals. This is how I do my pit barrel. Fill this with my lump charcoal, and then I add a very little bit of those hot coals and immediately get up to temperature at about 325, 350. And that's about where we're gonna try to cook. A little bit hot and fast with this pork. Now, one thing of note, when you are handling these gloves are just for charcoal. When I'm handling this basket, or I'm dropping it in, I'm using a leather protected glove because I will have some hot coals in here, as you'll see, and then I have to lower that in. Don't wanna get burned, and you wanna be careful. All right, let's get our fire lit. Now, yes, I'm not dealing with any hot stuff yet, but I put the cotton gloves on underneath the latex because your hands sweat like crazy, and this just makes it easier to function and get the gloves off quick. Anyway, so here we go. We have 2 picnic halves, and of course they have a little bit of bone in, like I said. And what we're gonna do, pop these open real quick. And then we got a little bit of trimming to do here on the back. We're gonna take some of that fat cap off the back. So if you were to put a rub on this, obviously, it's not gonna do you any good. Even if the fat were to render off and disappear, you'd also lose all that flavor and rub. So we want to expose this a little bit just so that we can get some nice flavoring on there. We'll leave a little bit, not a big deal. Let's get after this one. And it's football Sunday, got the boys coming over, so I gotta get popping here, man. Okay, now, on to the sriracha. Sriracha. Actually, I've been criticized for saying sriracha when it's sriracha, but I've always said sriracha because I like the way it sounds. I've always said it, so anyways, sriracha. I guess that's proper. That looks pretty good. And yes, you could do this and your rub's gonna stick without it. Barbecue people are creatures of habit and superstition. And so I just really like, it actually does add a tiny element to it. I'll be honest with you, people do taste it. All right, next up, Victory Lane, Chipotle, honey Chipotle rub. Really good stuff. So I'm just gonna give that a little coating. I'm a fan of honey Chipotle stuff. We're working on our own honey Chipotle right now. So this adds a little bit of, that little bit of sweet and a little bit of just a tiny bit of heat with the Chipotle in there, not a ton. And of course, our Grand Smoke Railroad. Chef Dan Lane and myself tinkered with this for a while before Memphis in May, and I think we really got it down really good last year. And like I said, we're working on some of these rubs right now in the labs, and we'll be hopefully coming out in 2020 with our line of rubs and sauces, Grand Smoke Railroad. And I'm just gonna let that sit a few minutes, and we're gonna go check on our fire, make sure it's up to temp. Let's get our pork on. Time, temperature, and technique. Probably around 3 hours I'm shooting for. Temperature-wise, we're shooting for 325. We might get a little hotter than that. And technique, of course, is the pit barrel cooker on the grate directly over the coals with some B&B post oak. Time to add some smoke. Well, all right, we are smoking. Now it's time to sneak that grill grate in there and get our pork on here. So we're coming in at 325 right now, and we'll probably be going a little bit more than that. But let me get some meat on here. Look at these two dogs. Oh, might need this paper towel here in a second. Oh yeah, God, look at that. Freaking beautiful. Now, yes, there is a direct fire, so we're gonna offset these a little bit, and then we'll keep an eye on that and rotate that. And I'll get a probe in here in a little bit, but I don't have to mess with that right now. We'll pop one in there in a second and keep track of it. Let's get our rod back in. Ooh, hot. And get smoking. There we go. So temp-wise, we are jamming at 360. I'm gonna go ahead and get these probes in one at a time here. Actually, I'm gonna bring these through, trying to not hit the bone. There we go. Whew. Keep it cranking. So remember, about every 30 minutes or so, come back and check on this and make sure that it's staying wet. You wanna make sure that the pork is damp a little bit. That enables the smoke to penetrate better. I just use fresh, organic apple cider. Time to wrap. Let's sneak this out through the bottom. Oh, she's sticking. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Whew. Put that one to the side. Mmm, tasty. Whoa, is that tasty. Oh my God, okay. All right, so here's the deal. We hit about 160 and 165, which is pretty cool because they were actually 20 degrees apart at one point and somehow they caught back up. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna double wrap these. I'm not gonna put anything in here whatsoever except maybe, yeah, let's do it. Let's put a splash of each of the rubs on here. Got the grand smoke. All right, so we're gonna wrap these up and get them back on the pit. Put all the creases up top. Oh yeah, one down. Okay, so we took them both off at 165. Get some probes back in here and get them back on and get these puppies ready for the 4 o'clock game. Uh-oh, probe fell through. So Scotty came all the way from Roxbury with some beer. I gotta make sure I feed him in time. So there you go. All right, so we're gonna let these get up to about 205, 206. We're gonna pull them, let them rest for about 45 to an hour. We're in a bit of a hurry. Then it's pork sliders. So we have hit 207, 206 right in there, and I am happy with that. Oh, off camera. Okay, so there you have it. Our picnics are off, our half picnics, if you will. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna plop these in a pan so as to not lose any more juice that they're encapsulating and holding. And then I'm gonna put it in this chill chest jammy, which you can put it in a cooler. You can put in anything you want. But this way we can do our carryover, wrap this really good in a towel, double it up, boom. That's gonna sit for about an hour, if not 2. You could even go 3, it doesn't matter. It's gonna only make it better. The idea here is it's gonna continue to carry over, and then the juices are gonna start to relax that are trying to escape the pork. And then it's gonna settle. And then it's gonna cool, actually barely cool. Even 2 hours in, it'll probably barely cool. You will see when we pull this, it'll still be hot, but yet the juices will not be completely wasted, and it will be awesome. So here we go, another hour from now, pulled pork sliders. So here's our 2 picnics that have rested for an hour and a half that we did hot and fast, 325, sometimes a notch over. And here, I'm gonna set this foil because I might reuse that. And the bone's gonna come right out. That's a beautiful thing. And the same with this one. All right, and here we have it. So you don't need claws. If you have really good pulled pork, you probably don't need claws or any of that silly stuff. you can just break this up and keep that beautiful bark on some of this. And so the idea here is that just break it up a little bit. You're gonna feel a couple of other cartilage and bones in here because of the picnic cut. And the good thing about doing this with your hands like this is you can feel those things and any sort of bones or shards that may be in there. Oh, this is, Scotty, can you smell it from over there?
It smells phenomenal.
So the boys are inside watching football, so they're gonna come out here and taste this, but we're gonna break it up proper for them first. I like having these chunks where it's just the shredded pulled pork and it has that beautiful bark on some of these pieces. As you can see, it's just, that is exactly what I'm looking for. Beautiful pulled pork with the bark and everything with it, absolutely beautiful. All right, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna add a little bit of apple cider, natural apple cider that I've heated up, or I should say organic, I'm sorry. And just pour a little bit of that in here. And then I'm gonna foil this, put a couple sheets of foil on this, let it sit for about 30 minutes, and then we're gonna serve up our sandwiches. We've already got our buns toasted up, so we're gonna ready rock here in about 30 minutes. And showtime before it gets too dark and I need to break out lights. So there you go, I toasted these in the pan in the house, a little bit of olive oil, properly toasted. Couple barbecue sauces, a few choices for the boys, some of my favorites, little smoking hogs and some B&B. All right, here we go. Oh, that is what is up. Oh, that is just gorgeous. All right, let me, Scotty, you're out here, so I'm gonna, how about I build you up something nice?
Build me something sexy.
Oh, look at that. Sliders so that you can have more than one, although I just made that very generous probably. Hey, yo. Told you the gloves are slippery. All right. A little bit of Pitmaster from Smoking Hogs. This stuff is the truth. Love it. And how about just you want a little slaw? A little slaw? Oh. That ain't nothing but some love right there, folks. Come and get it, brother. Hope you like pork. I hope you are. Look at that. I know. It must be halftime. It must be halftime. Oh, look at that. Now these are supposed to be sliders, boys, but what we got back here? Three. Let me feed the masses first. Hey, you got some BBQ? Yeah, that's what's up. That was unplanned. That was honestly organic. All right, boys. They're gonna be messy, but that's barbecue. Ted, Chris, what's up? And James wore his BBQIT shirt. Yeah. I should have given you one first. I got to take a sample myself here. See how this turned out. Yes. Success. Pound it out.
Seriously good.
I need another bite. Who says we can't barbecue in New England? That was not a New England accent, by the way. So who says you can't barbecue in New England? That's freaking good, cuz, huh? Oh my God. So there you go.
This is some good barbecue.
Thanks for watching BBQIT this week. Tune in next week, share with your friends, watch this video. Don't forget to subscribe. There you go. Straight from Gloucester. That's good stuff.